Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the pitch Spring 2024. We have an amazing audience tonight of students, faculty, folks on the live stream, and guests from the first ever Business and Communications Academic Preview Day. Thank you guys so much for coming. We have an amazing lineup of six presentations today. These people have worked for weeks. If you guys aren't familiar with the pitch, they have 5 minutes to present and 5 minutes with the judges. Weeks of work culminating in their 10 minutes on stage for a grand prize of $1,000 towards their pitch idea. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming our guests to the stage, judges to the stage. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming. I'd like to tell you a little bit about our judges so you know a little bit more about them before we continue. First, we have Joe Abraham, who's a serial entrepreneur and author of the critically acclaimed book, Entrepreneurial DNA. Joe's currently shaking up the higher education space with his most recent company, Beyond Academics, through their total filter-free disruption approach. Following their first major edtech acquisition late last year, Joe's looking forward to investing in others early on their business journey as an advisor. Next, we have Jennifer Bellin, who's a seasoned marketing strategist and leader who's propelled growth at several innovative tech companies over the past 20 years. In July 2022, she joined PFL as Chief Marketing Officer. PFL is a leading direct mail automation platform focused on simplifying direct mail at scale. Looking forward, Jennifer's pivoting her focus to angel investing, mentoring, and guiding startups. Then we have Jesse Lear, who graduated from Cedarville University in 2009 with a degree in marketing. After a couple of challenging years selling cable and internet services door to door, he founded VIP Waste Services with his roommate at the time, a close friend and fellow Cedarville graduate, which they would soon expand to 5 cities across the Midwest and eventually sell in 2018. Today, he's focused on his newest venture, Epicurean Properties, a boutique corporate housing company that operates fully furnished month-to-month rentals for discerning guests in the Columbus area. And then finally, we have Scott Moffat, a returning judge, who's driven by an innate passion for unlocking the potential of others. Scott Moffat has distinguished himself as the co-founder and head of partnerships at Ideal Strategic Partners, a venture studio that has remained dedicated to supporting the success of business professionals since its founding. Looking forward, Scott is planning to launch a Christian business podcast called Kingdom Commerce. There should be a slide of the QR code to lead you there, where he'll talk about everything from the principles behind operating a God-honoring business to the practices to grow your skills to start a business of their own. Thank you guys so much for coming. We really appreciate you being here. All right, without further ado, let's introduce our first pitcher. She's an avid and talented equestrian who's trained under 2 USDF gold medalists. She has a passion for training horses and riders to reach their fullest potential, which she plans to harness with this product. Hello everyone, my name is Addie Melvin. I would just like to start off by thanking you all for being here, especially you judges for taking time out of your day to help us aspiring entrepreneurs here at Cedarville. All right, without further ado, let's get started. I'd like to ask you all a question. Have you ever felt stuck at any point in your life? Whether it be your career, your relationships, school, I'm sure most of us can think back to a time where we felt there's an obstacle that we can't overcome. Unfortunately, a lot of equestrians find themselves in this position because they don't have access to a quality riding instructor. There are 3 reasons why an equestrian might not have access to a quality instructor. The first is a rural location. Second, the horse has behavioral issues. They can't load on a trailer or don't travel well. Finally, no access to a truck or trailer. And this is where I found myself when my sister and I purchased our first horse in 2019. She was 11. She's in the red in the middle. Unfortunately, because we didn't have a truck or trailer, we couldn't go to a instructor, and she was unfortunately seriously injured. Turns out we are not alone in this experience. 81% of equestrians are injured at some point in their career, according to Ohio State University. This problem lies very close to my heart, and this is why I came up with Achievers Equine Academy. where I hope to provide value to the equine industry by giving confidence to riders from any location so they can become the equestrian of their dreams. This is a completely virtual riding academy that consists of 3 parts. The first is live video lessons. These lessons are through a Zoom platform, and it's a lot like in person. Second is pre-recorded video lessons. These are perfect for the student with time constraints or scheduling issues. They send a video, and I send a video response back. Last is what I like to call the chat arena. This is open 24/7 to students where they can ask questions or comments, concerns, and I will be able to answer within 24 hours. This eliminates the couple days or weeks that a traditional student would have to wait for an answer from their instructor. So all of that sounds really great, but how am I different from my competitors? There are some competitors out there. The top 2 are Your Riding Success and Wise Out Equitation. Both of these competitors are more commercialized. They focus on courses rather than one-on-one interaction. Your Riding Success has over 10,000 students, so one-on-one lessons are extremely high-priced, $300 to $640 per lesson. I'm able to bring my costs down to 40 to 45 because I would like to have a smaller company where I can pour into each individual.
Training regime. Finally, this is where you can find us online. I have a website and socials, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. If you'd like to contact me, you can scan the QR code. Again, thank you all so much. This is Achievers Equine Academy.
Great presentation, and I love the fact that the story that you shared was so personal about why you want to start this business. So tell me a little bit about how you would get the word out. What would be your marketing strategy for this solution?
Yeah, absolutely. So starting off, just basic word of mouth. I have been an instructor before, and I have students that might be interested in this. I've talked to a few that would definitely be interested in this. I also plan to market through Instagram, Facebook, as much free marketing as I can do, and then also purchase like your typical Google Ads or something like that.
Thank you.
Yes.
As far as scaling the business, so there's one of you, right?
Yes.
And there's going to be a certain, point in time where you're going to run out of time at that price point. So I think step 3 and what you talked about was a virtual experience. And
Yes.
But have you put any thought into potentially like franchising, building the brand, and having other individual instructors that can do kind of replicating yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So once I reach about 30 students, which is all that I could physically pour time into, I would hire on another instructor. I have a couple people that I've actually talked to, but that would be a little bit more in the future, but I definitely want to expand and bring on some more people that have my same philosophy into my company.
So I love niche businesses like the one you're doing because you've got a very specific targeted audience and you're going to solve a problem for them. The only concern I have is you're going so below competitor prices, you may not be giving yourself enough room to grow. And what I mean by that is you may be comfortable in that 40 to 45 range, but to Scott's point, when you start bringing people on, they may want the 40 to 45, so then what's your business going to earn? So as a rule of thumb, whatever you want to pay them or yourself, multiply that by 3. I think you'll still be well below the competition,
Okay.
and you'll build a thriving business.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, I really like this idea as well. I think anything that I see like this that can be scaled online is always exciting.
Yes.
I'm curious why you decided to devote part of your budget to merch rather than,
Yeah.
say, online advertising on, pay-per-click ads on Facebook or YouTube or Google or anywhere else.
Yes, so there was part of my budget, about $500, that I set towards marketing, but the merch, one thing about equestrians, they really love their merch. They like to show off where they've come from, their instructors, and so it's just a huge part of horse riders, kind of part of the demographic. They really enjoy merch and wearing the training programs that they come from.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Annie Alexander and I am president of Q, and I would just like to personally thank you all for coming out tonight and listening to and supporting our presenters tonight. If you are a student here at Cedarville University or a student checking out Cedarville University for a potential college, we'd just like to invite you to Q, our org that is passionate about entrepreneurship and loves to promote students who are encouraging and interested in that field of study. So if entrepreneurship is something that you enjoy, please check us out and we'd love to have you. Thank you.
All right, Annie, thank you so much. She is so amazing, such a pleasure to work with. But now it's time to introduce our second pitcher, a senior computer engineering major who has a history with the pitch, who's getting ready to present a product that was impressive to the point that our tech team was surprised about how good it was during rehearsal. With this product, he plans on revolutionizing live performances forever. Please welcome to the stage, Willem Vandermeer.
Good evening, everybody. It's great to be here. So my name is Willem Vandermeer, and I am the CEO of Tenacity Tech LLC, and our product is the Midian Prime. So to you perennial pitch attenders, you may remember that I presented this as an idea last year, but this year I come before you with a product, a team, and a business. So first, for the team, so again, I'm Willem, I'm a senior computer engineering student, and then I'm also working with Christian, Matthew, and Lucas, who's up here, to help me demonstrate our product, and they're also senior engineering students here at Cedarville. So kind of first thing, our value proposition, what do we do? So the Midian Prime is a wireless MIDI trigger controller that allows performing musicians and rappers and worship leaders and anybody else performing on stage to wirelessly trigger tracks, pad tones, anything that they need to in the background. So kind of when would this be necessary? You can imagine the most stereotypical example is we got a guy, maybe let's call him Ralph. Ralph's down in Nashville trying to make it. He's performing at restaurants and he wants to sing over backtracks. Well, he needs a way to trigger those backtracks in order for him to sing over them. So with our product, got a model right here. Lucas, you can go ahead and pass out some models to the judges. So this is just kind of a mock-up of what the outside would look like. And so you can imagine this can be clipped to a pocket. And so, I'm Ralph, I'm singing. I'm not gonna sing for you, but I'll be singing. And then in between sets, in between songs, I'm, talking to the audience, telling some jokes. Go ahead and right on my belt, I can click for the next track. Next song starts, audience doesn't even know. So that's how our product would do it. It uses existing MIDI signals to communicate with existing software. So it's really seamless for a performer to introduce this. And so Ralph, though, he's got a couple other options that he could choose as well. But before I go into that, we've actually got a live demonstration for you. So I've got this Mac up here that's ready to trigger a track. So let me get this set up. Awesome. So Lucas is over there. Hopefully this works. Go ahead and hit the button.
Chorus, 2, 3, 4.
So there you can see that it's coming through the audio. Lucas, you can go ahead and pause that. And you can see he can do pause play from up there. It also works kind of in the balcony. We're really aiming for a lot of range, so performers can go anywhere they want on stage. So kind of looking at the alternatives though, Ralph could choose a foot controller. This is something where he would have on the ground with some buttons. Some downsides to that though is one, he has to stay in the same spot. With our product, you can move around, but with the foot controller, has to stay in the same spot, look down, kind of loses some audience engagement. Live performers really live off of audience engagement, and that's a downside. Second, he could also just use a laptop keyboard, so he could have a Mac on stage with him and kind of just reach over, hit the button, and the audience might not really notice that, but it would be kind of convenient if he could have his Mac with the rest of his sound equipment. So like in the chapel here, it's really convenient. I can have the Mac up here. They have pre-run cables to connect to all the sound equipment. But if you're in a restaurant that doesn't have those cables, you have to run that cable yourself, and that can be a hassle. And finally, if Ralph did have, say, a sound guy with him, some sort of audio engineer, he could have the audio engineer trigger these tracks, but it's kind of like having somebody else trigger your PowerPoint presentation. If it's perfect and you don't want to be spontaneous with it, it can work great. But if you want to be spontaneous with things, it's not going to work very well. So again, our differentiation is that our product is discrete, so it allows you to preserve audience engagement without the audience knowing you're triggering things. It's wireless, so you can go anywhere on stage and consolidate your technology, and it's small. So you can imagine if you're a rapper and you want to body surf and trigger your next song, you can do so. So for the market analysis, there are about 65,000 worship leaders in the US that use a guitar, and about 14,000 professional musicians. Taking about 10% of this plus a 13% churn in these groups yields a TAM of about 79,090 units with about another 1,000 per year. And this also excludes part-time performers, on which it's very difficult to find statistics. So we got some customer feedback, got this in the hands of some actual consumer testers. So that includes Hannah Yost, Brendan Cavan, Jared Mobley, and Josiah Davenport. Shout out to all of them. But some really encouraging comments from Hannah and Brendan was, from Hannah, I'm surprised there's nothing out there like the Midian Prime. And Brendan, it's like genius. So they provided a lot of other concrete feedback, but these were just some encouraging comments. So then for critical operations, for product delivery, we're looking at using Sweetwater and Guitar Center as potential retailers, Amazon as well, but Amazon takes big fees, so maybe not. And then for an e-commerce website, we're looking to use WordPress with Ionos, Woo, and Helsum. For remaining activities, our LLC is formed. We got to get the operating agreement figured out. The provisional patent was just filed about 2 hours ago, so that was really exciting. Our development should be done by May. FCC certification is something we legally need to sell. We are working on the website, and inventory can be ordered after everything is developed. So then finally, for financial analysis, the biggest startup costs are inventory and intellectual property, and also the FCC certification. We're looking at about $38 per unit, and we would hope to make about $50 per unit, which would help us to break even at about 150 units per year over 3 years. That excludes labor costs. So right now we're doing it on the side, so hopefully we can make significantly more than that to kind of pay ourselves. And so finally, thank you all for listening. If you're out in the audience and this sounds like something that you'd like to provide feedback on or even be a consumer tester, please scan our QR code. We'd love to hear your feedback. And thank you. And judges, do you have any questions?
I'm gonna jump in because I remember the first pitch, and you did a great job then. You did a great job again today.
Thank you.
I actually think your market's a lot larger than your statistics indicate. You talked about the smaller musicians and not being able to see, get a lot of that data. I understand that. But I think it's a lot larger. I think a lot of people can benefit from this. Your $38 per unit cost, is that based on you buying these pieces yourself? Is it on large quantities? What are the quantities that cost?
So that cost was based on a 100 quantity initial order.
Okay, so you can probably get that down 30, 40% in economies of scale. $50. I mean, I was going to ask, have you done any kind of price testing with your target market? What they're willing to pay for it? What's important to them? You have time with the provisional. You have 2 hours less than 12 months to file a non-provisional, and then from that point, you kind of know exactly what you're filing. So have you tested your price point?
Yeah. So we've talked to consumers about pricing, and somewhere a little bit lower, somewhere a little bit higher. We thought kind of the $80 to $100 range would kind of be a good medium.
When you get down to $30, that's 70% gross margin. Retailers will come later. They'll take 50% of your margin, so try to focus direct to consumer first, but I think you did a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want the marketing people to keep talking because this is going to be a marketing challenge more so than anything else. You've solved the technology already, so.
Yeah, well, I was curious. You said, are you going to start to D2C online? Is that how you're going to distribute, or what is your distribution plan, and how are you going to get the word out initially?
Yeah, so the plan would be to sell online first, so go with an e-commerce website, and then also maybe contact retailers like Sweetwater, Guitar Center, and see what they thought. And then for marketing, kind of word of mouth, we've been working on getting a nice network of people that we can talk to. At Cedarville, it's really nice. There's a lot of people kind of in this space. And then also reaching out behind that. And then, of course, like Google Ads and email marketing and things like that.
Thank you.
Can you talk a little bit more about your plan to deal with competition? And then also, if you could explain a little bit about how challenging these are to make and the likelihood that your patent is going to be approved?
Yes. So kind of on the first one with competition, so of course patent kind of helps with that. But on the market currently, there's not really a comparable product, which we were kind of surprised when we first had the idea that there wasn't kind of something out there like this. And so the main way that we hope to kind of stick in the consumer minds is by making a quality product kind of from the beginning. So if somebody else makes something, then it might work as good, but we want to make something so it's not going to work better.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's really important to figure out how you're going to sort of create a moat around what you're doing, because there are a lot of larger companies that are already very connected with these retailers that you're hoping to get in. So I think I would spend a lot of time personally focusing on that, because I actually, from your presentation, it seems like you can do this. My biggest concern is going to be whether or not you can scale without somebody much bigger than you seeing it and copying it, scaling much faster than you could. So that'd be my only concern with it, but it sounds like you have a pretty good plan so far.
Thank you.
So I'm the pricing and business model guy. So if the final sell price is going to be 95, let's say, give or take, see what you guys can do, put your innovation hat on, and see how you can get your cost to 20 bucks. You'll build something thriving with that on a product company. And then the only other piece of advice would be, I'm glad you filed your provisional. There'll be some costs involved in the patent. But once you file that patent, be done with IP. Because I know a lot of entrepreneurs who just went, oh, I need another patent. And they spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on IP when they should be spending it on marketing. So get your one patent and then sell. The rest will take care of itself. Someone else will come buy you and spend more money on patents. But don't get stuck in patent world. You guys are doing great.
Thank you.
Are you guys having fun tonight? Yeah, wow. Woo! I'll tell you what, this excites me so much. I love seeing people's dreams come true. And we have a lot of people watching online, as well as some high schoolers here as well. If you look, we have Q Camp on the screen. This is the first ever Cedarville University Q Camp. It's happening June 4th through June 7th. If you like what's happening on stage and you're a high schooler, we would love for you to come to Q Camp and learn all about how to pitch. In fact, some of you Cedarville students, I'm going to recruit to be paid camp counselors. If you're interested in that, let me know. But I just love everything that's going on tonight. Big shout out to Dr. Haymond and the whole Plaster School of Business. Lots of great things are happening at Cedarville. Keep watching. We have prizes tonight to give away too.
All right, guys, who's ready for our third pitcher? Does anybody in the crowd enjoy fashion? I know I do. Next, we have a senior computer science major, and she wants to harness her passion for fashion and her love of her major to create something that, in an increasingly digital world, will make looking good easier than ever. Please welcome to the stage, Lainey Humes.
Hello, everybody. I want to start out by asking you the question, do you want to be chuggy? I know I don't want to be chuggy. Chuggy is something that our day and age would use to describe as someone who's a little bit out of style, a little bit behind the trends. And the problem is, no one's probably going to tell you if you're chuggy, and you probably don't know if you're chuggy. So I've come up with a little solution for that. NeoChic, fashion consultation based off of machine learning. So let's talk a little bit about the technology behind NeoChic. I spent over 150 hours developing technology for AI in the high fashion world. So what I can do is I can take a data set of high fashion show images from our particular season, segment out the clothing pieces, accessories, as you can see above, and then use additional machine learning models to run analytics. What are the trends we're seeing in this season? The top patterns, top articles of clothing, top colors. What's in, what's not chuggy? You might be thinking, high fashion shows. What in the world does that have to do with me? Why would I want data from that? Well, this is not the type of high fashion shows that I'm analyzing. There's a couple different kinds. This one's a couture high fashion show. So a little bit more of an art form. Sorry about that. And then what I'm analyzing is a ready-to-wear high fashion show. So that's what's actually on racks in stores. That's what's setting the trends. Large clothing businesses, such as Zara, big chains, they're already using data to merchandise their stores, have happy customers, and save a lot of money. But small businesses and boutiques don't have the money for a large technological team. And so what I want to do with my business and my technology is target the smaller clothing business and boutique and bring them a consultation. So in this consultation, we're going to talk about what's in this season based on the analytics and based on the technology, and then what's your specific boutique aesthetic, and how do we bring those together to merchandise your store accordingly, to make sure that your store is in for the season. And then boutiques are sticking. Malls everywhere, they're dying, because boutiques, they bring in experience, and our generation is all about the experience. And so I want to provide a magazine and an app to add to that experience and support the consultation, so that people know that this boutique is being consulted and they're in. So you have the magazine in front of you, judges. The magazine is going to be a little bit, maybe if you're an older generation, someone who wants to have something more physical in front of them, that's going to have things like, how does machine learning and AI, define the figure out the trends? Because AI is a little thrown around in this day and age. It's also going to have what's in style for that season, how the high fashion show applies to the average person. And then you also have an app. I've already started developing this app. You can take a picture of your outfit, and you're going to get a score based on that season's high fashion trends. And so while you're in a store, in a boutique, trying on clothes, looking at them, you're going to be able to scan your outfit and say, this is in. This boutique is selling in stuff. I'm not going to be chuggy shopping here. A little bit more on the business side of things, pricing. It's going to start out at $199 a year. That's going to include one consultation and one magazine twice a year, because your fall-winter high fashion shows and your spring-summer high fashion shows are clumped together in the fashion weeks. So you're going to get one for each season. And that's going to be $5 per an additional magazine. And the boutiques can choose to either sell those to their customers or hand them out, have them around the boutique. My costs are pretty low, $1.80 per magazine, 50 cents to $5 for packaging and shipping. I'm the only employee, I'm developing the software, and so that leaves my profit margin really high at 93%. For marketing, small business, I want to build relationships with you. I want to talk to you, tell you about what I'm passionate about and how it's going to affect your business in a positive way. So that's to start out. Also, networking with boutique owners, obviously a social media presence in this day and age, and fashion events that these boutiques and smaller clothing businesses are going to be at to kind of merchandise their stores and things like that. My market landscape is really, really large at 178,366 boutiques alone in America. So there's a lot of room to grow, a lot of room to go in, build relationships, and make sure that people and boutiques are never, ever chuggy. NeoChic, thank you.
I have a quick question for you.
Yeah.
You know the $199 a year, is the consult for the store owner?
Yes.
So that's you, having pulled all the data, consulting them on what they should do next?
Yes.
And then they get the magazine, do they just kind of get one digital version that they can then reproduce, or how does it, or is this not for the end user, this is just for the...
No, so I will send kind of one magazine to them for free, and then they can choose to buy as many additional magazines as they would like to
Because
give
this is
out
for
to the
their end user, right?
Yeah, this is for the customer, kind of add to that experience and show that they're in style and they're being consulted.
Cool, thank you.
Yep.
I love this idea.
Thank you.
I mean, for me, it's like, my question for you is, why not D2C? Why not make an app that someone like me could just go and take a look? I mean, I would pay for something like that. I am so often online looking around, you know, trying to figure
Yeah.
out what's in fashion. So what made you go boutique route versus D2C potentially?
Yeah, I think that's really what's cool about this business is there's a lot of room to grow. So just even in that app, giving it to boutiques and then having people use that, there's a lot of room to kind of like bring it to different areas. And I have considered not only doing this for boutiques, but also consulting just a person. And so, yeah, there's a lot of different areas kind of to go with it. I guess I always wanted to have a boutique of my own, so that's kind of what made me go in that path. But the single person, yeah, that's definitely a great idea to kind of segue to.
But she'll get some bonus exposure, you know, through the boutiques to their customers, and maybe that builds momentum towards the individual app.
Yeah, definitely agree.
That's exactly what I was going to say, and I'm always the D2C first person, but I wrote down, you know, white labeling it. But you're actually increasing the offering for these boutiques to their customers. So actually having it, you know, you can still stay consistent, have your branding on it, but it can be basically their offering and an added value to their customers that are already in their stores. I like that a lot. I think it's two businesses, you know, and I hope I'm not the only person in the room that have never heard the word chuggy before, but I certainly haven't. Don't want to be chuggy. When it comes to just the kind of information newsletter side of it, I think that's more of just staying top of mind, top of sight. I don't think that's as much of the revenue model as much as the app is. So I think that's kind of ancillary, but I really like it a lot. I think you're really onto something.
Thank you.
I don't like it because of a certain somebody sitting in the front row who will purchase this app, and like, we will go broke.
I'll have to talk after.
Speaking of the price, how did you come up with the price? And are you sure that that is, I guess along with the question that was just previously asked, are you sure the boutiques are the best target market for this in terms of, you know, I always like to think when I'm going to market something, who has the most fear to be relieved or who has the biggest hopes to be met? Do you think that boutiques are more afraid of being chuggy, or is the average consumer?
Yeah, so I first did a little bit of research on how much boutiques are charging for just like consultations today, and it's about $100 to $200 an hour, so I kind of wanted to start out on the low end just because as I get things rolling and then kind of maybe up that price as I get going and kind of have that concrete evidence behind it. So that's kind of where the pricing came from. And then what was your other question?
Kind of in line with what was talked about a moment ago, how, in terms of who feels the most pain in regards to, you know, being afraid of being chuggy, is it the boutique owner who's stressing about what to order, or do you think it's the consumer who's really trying to?
I wonder, I think she may be onto something because the boutique owners are having to compete against the big brands online, and if she can bring them technology, like she said, that they can't typically afford, she's giving them a competitive advantage. Right, so if she can sell that competitive advantage well, she could be onto something.
And I like the boutique because I actually feel that it's people who care about their fashion because they're spending more money typically in a boutique than they would, and you have a lower barrier to entry than you would with maybe a larger retail store. So it's people who care. Usually it's going to be one decision maker, so you don't have to go through layer after layer after layer. So it's almost kind of a DTC in a backwards B2B way, but I like that.
Yeah.
I would caution that boutique owners may not be as tech savvy as you would hope, and may not buy into it as quickly, so you're going to have to position that.
Yeah. I think kind of my position on it is I'm doing all the technology and I kind of have that concrete evidence for you, and I'm just going to like consult you on it versus them buying a technology and trying to use it and figure out what the trends are. Is kind of I'm that middle person there to help them with that technology side of things.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, time does fly, and we're officially halfway through. We're going to have a 5-minute intermission, but make sure to cue that
scan that QR code that's going to be up there shortly for the chance to win a wireless Bluetooth speaker, a pair of Beats, or, most importantly, a Q Club t-shirt, which is definitely not chuggy. All right, I'll see you guys in 5 minutes. Thank you.
What's up, everybody? This is Dr. KO. This is Christian.
What's up, everyone? How are we doing?
We have Madeline. We have Maria. We have Aubrey. We have. What's up? Oh, got a. Everybody, are we available for sound? Is it coming through good? We have some prizes that we're going to give away as well.
Some prizes?
Yeah, man.
What?
So Christian, were you in the pre-show?
I was. Me and Annie Alexander, who was just with us, she went away to go do something really fast.
All right.
But yeah, we were able to do the pre-show.
So I got people saying they can hear.
Awesome.
Alvin, dude, say hi to the crowd, man.
Hey, what's up, guys?
How crazy is this room? In fact, let's show the audience.
Yeah, show the audience right there.
Oh,
We have a lot of
you got
that are
hundreds of
excited.
people.
Super
Oh,
excited.
you're good. Awesome. All right. So, yeah, we do. All right. So we're going to be giving away some prizes. Alina says, "Oh, there's Dr. Leo. Is it Dr. Leo? Alina. Could this be? I don't know. Is it Dr. Leo? Alina? Maybe. I don't know.
Comment if it is.
Cody, we love Dr. KO. Yeah. All right. So first of all, how on fire is this room?
Oh, I think the room's pretty hype.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of energy. We've done this show 3 times, and I think this is by far our biggest crowd. So that's super cool to see. And looks like a lot of people online as well. So it's super awesome.
Let's talk about who we think the judges like. In fact, we want people to vote.
Definitely.
So let's talk about
right off the bat, we had the equestrian training.
Addie Melvin.
Yep.
Then we moved into, was it Prime Meridian?
Yep. Medium Prime.
Medium Prime.
With Willem van der Wees.
What's Prime Meridian?
I don't know.
You know what no, the Prime Meridian is like the Earth. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Like the
That's-
Prime Meridian. You know
we got the equator and the Prime Meridian.
So this is Median
Hey,
Prime.
shout out to his geography teacher. He remembered. That's big. That's big.
All right. So
And then we had Lainey Humes with the Don't Be Chuggy.
What do you all think about that? I saw the crowd the judges freaking out with the Lainey.
I think they enjoyed it.
Yeah, you think they like that one? So far I'm blown away. Look, there's a huge crowd. What's going on over here? Is there a fight breaking out? Autographs? What's going on? Autographs. Okay, it's autographs, everybody. So listen, we only have a few minutes left. Here's Dr. Smith. Dr. Smith's gonna speak. That dude's pretty tall.
He is pretty tall.
You know what I'm saying?
He's a tall brother.
That dude's tall. All right. So I brought my parents in.
You brought your parents. Should we meet your parents?
Yeah,
I think we should meet your parents.
Mom and Dad. What are you all thinking? What are you thinking about? Who's your favorite? The horse person, the music box, or the you're online? Oh yeah, you are online. Yes, or the chuggy one. What are you thinking?
Really hard to decide.
It is. You all think about that. Let's ask some other students. Hey, what's going on? Let's hear some crowd favorites.
So good.
You like it?
I love
Yeah.
the switch. It's
The Switch? Okay. So which one, if you had to vote, which one would you vote? Chuggy? But should she be called Chuggy?
It's just a good word.
Should she be called Chuggy just because that was so memorable? Or should it be like no Chuggy? I don't know.
Chuggy with a question mark?
I don't know. Okay.
I love the range.
Do you like the range? Okay. What about the horse, Addie?
Eat as well.
Yeah.
Scale.
Scale? Okay. Really polished out of all of them, eh? All right. So listen, folks, Hey, we got somebody watching from Thailand or something, or Philippines or something. I don't know. It's all good. Okay, so let's give away some prizes. So Tanisha, let's list the prizes. Here's what our prizes are. We have one of those pleather, like Cedarville portfolio things. We have a mug. We have a quarter zip Cedarville thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, I know.
And
Not Chugi.
not Chugi,
It is
not
not
Chugi,
Chugi.
not Chugi. By the way, here's Aubrey.
Hi.
She is a lot of the planning behind this. It's definitely a team effort, but you've been like running around. It's really good.
Thank you. It's a lot of
Going
fun.
well.
Hi, Mom and Dad.
How much time do we have?
I
I think we gotta like roll with the countdown.
I think we
timer.
do. Hold on. Let me see what's
What we got? Talk to me. That's because they gotta log in. I think. Ask him, Luke. Solve the QR code right here if you don't mind. All right, so folks, we've given away 2 prizes away. Oh, Addie Pitch is leading the way. Ooh, all right. So we have people voting. Let's hear, folks. Your vote may count. Somebody said Addie Pitch is leading the way. What about Chugi person? What about Laney? But what about Willem? Talk to us. So if you're here at Cedarville, you want to win the prize, you have to be signed in to make the QR code work. How much time do we have? All right, Tanisha, let's pick another prize, okay?
You can take it.
Go ahead and pick a prize. Let's talk about Cedarville a little bit. So I'm here as a professor. I absolutely love it. God is doing incredible things here at Cedarville. Hey, what do you all think about the, and by the way, I mentioned the cost because we had some amazing donors. This is not tuition money. But what do you think of the $40 million building for business comp? Like, that is pretty nuts. But I think we're going to be able to see some massive kingdom impact through it. So, you pretty excited for that?
I'm so excited. I haven't even seen it yet. All these new kids are seeing it before I
Oh
am.
yeah. You haven't gotten a tour yet. All right, we have a vote for Laney. We have a vote for Addie. What else?
No, that's Ian, yo.
Any music box people out there? Any switcher people? Willem. Yeah. Anybody voting for Willem? We love gloves. So gloves it hasn't even been on. Cooper is making a appearance. In fact, we are going to interview Where Are They Now? And we're going to interview three people that have won the pitch in the past. And we're going to actually, that's probably one of my favorite things.
Oh, it's going to be so fun.
Very excited.
I'm so excited.
Yep. Everybody's saying it's working now. Yeah, the sound, absolutely. Awesome. So, folks, we are going to be giving away, just in case you don't know, $1,000 first prize, $500 second prize, $300 third prize, and then fourth, fifth, and sixth each get $100. They get to invest it in their business. It's unbelievable. All right. I'm ready when you are. I say we roll. Yeah. So let's roll. Let's roll. You know, save time, keep people interested. Yeah. All right. Here we go, folks. We're gonna get started. I'll see you later. Take care. Here we go.
All right, guys, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your break. We got a lot of drawings for the prizes, so stay tuned, and we will be drawing, hopefully, your name soon. But first, let's get to our next pitchers. So we have our first and only duo tonight, a marketing and nursing major. They are presenting a product on an issue very close to our hearts and are hoping to employ a creative solution to help it. Please welcome Will Woods and Abigail Atkins.
Hello, everyone. My name is Abigail Atkins.
And my name is Will Woods. We're really excited for this project. Our team has been working hard since October when this idea formed, so let's get right into it.
2,360 women are affected by abortion every single day, and most of them turn to Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood has dominated in women's health care. They're responsible for over 60% of abortions in the United States. And this is problematic because Planned Parenthood is unified. They have effectively unified the pro-choice movement to promote their agenda. In return, pro-life organizations are scattered. Each works individually, alone, for the same cause, but is not effective to stand against Planned Parenthood. We see through our research that 58% of women know someone who has had an abortion. There are signs that show abortion increases the risk for anxiety, depression, suicide, and drug abuse, and 763 ununified pro-life organizations. There is a need here. There's a need to connect women to a unified organization of pro-life counselors and to create a platform for these counselors, which does not exist.
And this is where we present PEACE. PEACE stands for Pregnancy Education and Counseling Encouragement. It is a counseling platform that connects these women in need to a wide range and a wide network of counselors. Our mission is to offer accessible and affordable counseling services to these women in need. And our value proposition is to unify pro-life counseling organizations by partnering with their already existing counselors. 2, provide pregnancy counseling to women who are seeking help through an online service at an affordable price. So let's look at how we are going to do this.
So the first step, we've started off with research. Myself, Will, and the rest of our team, Addie and Harley, we've researched and determined that there's a need for women. Specifically, our audience is women seeking pregnancy help in crisis pregnancy, looking for options, looking for support. And we've also identified that there's a need for a unified pro-life platform of pro-life counselors. Although there's many organizations, there is no unity. So our second stage then is to network. Our goal here is to network our idea and ourselves with pre-existing pro-life counselors to connect them, to build a network, and then connect this network to the women. This would be to promote biblically sound counsel and support from a pro-life perspective. Our current connections here are Joe Knopp, who's the director of Unplanned, and 2 counseling networks through him. From here, our third stage would be to build a website. This would be creating a website that we can then have this network of counselors to connect them to our clients. Then we would continue to market the brand, continue to connect, and try to get word out that way. Our fourth and final stage, the big picture here, is to eventually build and then launch an app. This would make it easy to access, able to be downloaded, and eventually a full-scale content and ad spend marketing campaign.
So let's look at the industry, our competitors. As you can see on the screen, on the top, you have BetterHelp. BetterHelp is currently the industry standard when it comes to virtual therapy. They have an app and a website, the model that we are trying to replicate. And currently their cost is about $60 to $90 per week prior to insurance. But we are trying to help these women in need, and we want to bring this price down, which is why we would like to offer it at $49.99 per week. Currently, the industry average is about $81 a week for virtual therapy, but we want this to be accessible to these women. How are we going to do this? Through our cost structure. So let's take a look at it. First, we have the startup. This is going to be a nonprofit, so we are going to fundraise. We need to build the website so we can connect to the women. We are going to promote at pro-life events, a part of our networking and building unity, and we want to launch an organic content campaign, the best way to reach these women and promote this brand and idea. But the secret sauce to how we're going to bring down this affordable price is through our operation. We want all of our operation fees to be fully donor funded. The operation wages, the internal fees, like the services we will use, and the counselor costs, the initial counselor costs, will all be fully donor funded. Next, the customer. The customer is the most important thing. These are the women in need. We want it to be affordable and easy, 40% less than the industry. We want every dime paid by the customer to go directly to these counselors helping them. And the counselors will be paid per session booked. And it could be a subscription model where these women pay when they get their paycheck. So let's look at the next steps for peace counseling.
So like we said earlier, we're currently in the networking phase. We're seeking to connect ourselves and our idea with existing pro-life counselors to build this network and to then reach these women who are in need of help. We're very passionate about this idea, and we hope that you'll join us to bring hope to these women and to bring you peace. Thank you.
So I love it. I love what you guys are doing. Huge movement, definitely needed. I'm not sure Planned Parenthood is what you would consider to be, I guess, a competitor. I don't know if you even were alluding to that. I understand their role in abortions. What would your messaging be to women who, and you talk about crisis pregnancy, so what is that messaging that you're looking to convey to your target, and like to use your customer, for the mother pregnancy in crisis?
So the message is, we want to help you. It's sometimes whenever you market as a Christian or a pro-life organization, there's already a preconceived idea about those groups, and we don't want that. We want to show that we want to help them. So we will market as a Christian, as a women counseling service, but we know within the organization, we are Christians, we are pro-life, and that we want to promote those values, but in the end, help these women.
Also think it's a wonderful mission that you're trying to address. It's something really important, and I really believe in online counseling. My concern is the price point, because a lot of women in this situation don't have a lot of resources financially. And so is there a way, did you explore a way to make it absolutely free to the women and fund it in other ways?
We did. We were hoping that eventually, with it being fully donor funded and a nonprofit eventually would be kind of the goal. We were hoping that with the cost being what it is, it would be either covered by insurance or we can even drive that cost down farther. So like we said, the goal is to make it as affordable as possible, and that price point isn't necessarily set in stone. We'd like to bring it lower if we could.
Anything, Jesse?
Yeah, I'm curious if you've considered white labeling in terms of using a white label version of an existing app, or if you've researched if that exists. So for example, is there a BetterHelp type of thing out there where you can pay a subscription fee and essentially have an app like that within a matter of days, or are you going to have to build it from scratch?
We looked at both options. There are many therapy sites out there that do not cost much at all to build. It's like a $69 per month plan, and you can get a full virtual therapy website up and running. For the app, we did not dive into whether we can white label an app. BetterHelp is kind of what we're modeling after. Their marketing game plan and campaign has been like astronomical. They are everywhere, but they aren't promoting the values that we want promoted. So we have looked into that. And for the website, it would work.
Two quick things for you guys. You're at a wonderful stage of ideation. I just encourage you to surround yourself with as many advisors as you can, because they're going to guide you on a couple little tweaks to what you're thinking that could be a game changer. Because you're doing what's called a two-sided model, where on one side you're going to have to go find these women in need, and on the other side you have to find the counselors to fulfill the need. So it's kind of a double-sided thing. So the more advice and guidance you have in how to build a two-sided model, because most of them crash, because you either end up with too many of one and not enough of the other, or vice versa. And on the funding part, I sit on a couple of nonprofit boards and go to a lot of nonprofit fundraisers, and donors freak out. Now, today's donor freaks out when your service is going to be 100% donor funded, because donors want to see a path to sustainability where their funding will get you somewhere, but then something kicks in to make your venture self-sustaining. So, and then on one of the boards I sit on, we provide legal aid, right, to people who can't afford lawyers. Well, in the early days, it was free. And what they actually found, and what we found several years in, was giving it away free took away the dignity of the person who wanted the service. So some sort of a copay, and as soon as we introduced a very small $30 copay, and yours could be very different, it brings the dignity back so that they're still contributing, but the donors are taking over a bigger chunk of it. So just something to think about that we don't miss as you build your business model, but love what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
I think
The only
also
thing I would add, sorry, I was just going to say, I would look into some grants potentially also to get you started and get you off the ground, because once you can prove the concept out, that's going to help donors feel a little bit better as well. So getting that seed, I think, like you said, if you have too many women come on, there's not enough therapists and vice versa, that can be challenging as well.
I was just going to say, I think with ideas like this, as awesome as they are, it's very easy to fall into a trap of what you think the customer needs versus what they're thinking that they need. So with your marketing, I would really encourage you to think about, okay, what's going on in that person's mind at that moment, and use that to shape your marketing and your terminology and your advertising and things like that.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Well done.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming and thank you for enjoying the pitch with us. So, the moment that many of you may have been waiting for, definitely I have been waiting for this moment, are the prizes. So, for the first drawing that we have done, out of everyone that has entered for the pitch, the first person that's gonna win Beats headphones is Lydia Barak. If you're not here, we're gonna redraw to give it to someone else. Oh, never mind. Right. And the second person that also is gonna win Beats headphones is gonna be Carson Lopes. And the third prize that we have is a JBL speaker. That's beautiful. It's also waterproof, so many of you can use it anywhere you want. The third person that won is Scott Howell. Scott Howell. Is Scott Howell in the building? He's pulling up, okay. Door delivery service, yes, let's get it. And the fourth person that has won in our prize drawing for today, another, not set, but another pair, or it's not even a pair, but a JBL speaker goes to Noah Grooms. Thank you guys. We're also gonna be throwing some free We're gonna be throwing one free Q t-shirt. I got that, see? I should be on the basketball team, you know? I'm gonna try to throw it with this trench coat on and not rip it, so we'll see. She has her hands up there, but let's see. Good job.
Thank you, Albin. Excellent t-shirt throwing skills. All right, now it's time for our fifth pitcher. We have another experienced pitcher coming up today who is a graduate student who's pursuing a Master's of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, making starting businesses his business. Please welcome to the stage Cooper Peterson.
How's it going? It's an honor to be here. Today I get to present the Christian Manufacturing Network on behalf of my team, which is an innovation to help Christian manufacturers around the globe get a profitable stream of revenue so that they can better sustain their church. So for the context of our conversation, we need to describe what a Christian manufacturer is. It's a foreign manufacturer that sustains a ministry or church. It's a refuge from human trafficking, abuse, and neglect, and it's often in an economically depressed area. So the first problem is that Christian manufacturers lack the resources and business connections to have profitable streams of income to support their local church. We found this through our market research. One study showed and cited the two most cited obstacles for micro businesses is lack of knowledge and lack of financial resources. In addition, microfinance has been a proposed solution to help out these small Christian manufacturers, yet we've seen a lot of scandal where over 50% in some countries have been used for household items instead of their business, putting them in more debt. So our first target audience would be Christian manufacturers who are gospel-minded, can create quality product, and having a willingness to try a new strategy to gain more income. Our second problem that we found is that Christian businesses here in the U.S. do not have options to support Christian manufacturers. If you go on the internet and you want to find a specifically Christian manufacturer, it's very difficult to find overseas. We did a sample survey with about 10 U.S. businesses, and we asked them if they would be willing to switch their current manufacturer to a Christian manufacturer, given that pricing and quality is the same, and all of them said yes. And so this was confirmation that Christian businesses would support Christian manufacturers overseas if given the opportunity. So our second target audience, if you will, is our Christian businesses that are gospel-minded and having willingness to support Christian manufacturers. So our solution is to create a network of Christian manufacturers and businesses and facilitate those business transactions. So we would be the middlemen that manage the orders between the business and the manufacturer. We would help the Christian manufacturers acquire a constant and profitable stream of income of revenue while giving businesses the ability to support missions through their daily business transactions. So the manufacturer gets valuable income, allowing it to sustain their church or ministry, and Christian businesses have the option to support ministries and companies they agree with. So this is how our model would work. We would have a website, and the U.S. business would order from us. We would then match their order to the best fit manufacturer that we would have within our network, and we would manage the manufacturing and delivery process out of their country into our country and to the Christian business. And we've actually have a prototype that we've started. Up there is a gloves running mitt. I sent it overseas to a Christian manufacturer that I found through a missionary, and they were actually able to develop a prototype as seen on the left-hand side, and then the process of sending that back to me. So our current progress is we have a prototype. We gotten missionary insights, missionary advisors who have given us very important insights on culture and how these Christian manufacturers interact. And we've made contact with over 10 ministry organizations that we're delving into deeper conversations with them, looking to hopefully partner with them in the future. So there are 4 distinct phases. The first phase is to create a network of interested manufacturers, missionaries, and Christian businesses. And that's where we're at right now. We started going into phase 2, which is to develop a model using iterative learning. We want to develop a model in a specific industry or area and continue to refine it so we can make it a model that's adaptable to different industries or other areas. Our third phase is to partner with ministries and apply this model to their contacts. And our fourth phase would be to apply the model to thousands of Christian manufacturers worldwide. So our initial fixed cost would be to have a website that's an independent website, and the variable costs, a lot of those would be the shipping and the logistics, and that would depend on the product. So in order to remain sustainable, we would add revenue generation through adding 1% to 2%. This would vary depending on the product and where it's at. So our goal is to see the gospel go forth through facilitating business transactions to fund ministry and the global church. And our ask is guidance in global business. Thank you.
So, Cooper, 2 quick things. When you were describing what you're going to be offering the buyer in this case, the Christian business that needs the manufacturing done, when I put myself in their shoes, I love the idea that you're going to take responsibility. I pay you, you find the people, they manufacture it and ship it. If I was your general counsel, your lawyer, I'd be freaking out because you just took the liability for the entire end-to-end situation, no matter what your supplier or your manufacturer does. So just something to look into on the legalese of, would it be better for you to take that liability or just connect buyer and seller like a lot of platforms do, and then collect your fee in the middle? Just something to think about the liability thing as you go.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. One of the reasons that we would manage it all is because of some security reasons. Some of these areas could be in closed countries where it would be difficult to proclaim that they're Christian, and so we want to keep their identities as Christians secret.
That's a good point. The only other quick thing before they take over is the 1% to 2%, that's too low. So you can get more out of it for the service you're providing, and I think that'll help your revenue model as you start building your pro forma. So you can go a lot higher than 1% to 2%.
And I can actually speak to that because what you're doing is you're basically sourcing. You're sourcing. That's the terminology when you're kind of middleman brokering transactions with manufacturers. And for us in our company, there's been relationships we have in different countries, boots on the ground, that are actually going and looking at these factories and making sure that they're quality, that they're not mistreating their employees and so on and so forth, and that they're on the up and up, because unfortunately in a lot of the countries where you have to manufacture to be competitive price-wise, it's not always the case. On average, I would say you're looking at about a 10% above what their cost is. So 1% to 2% is definitely on the lower end. You are taking a lot of that responsibility. I love the thought of working with Christian manufacturers. I don't know what process you would have to kind of verify and validate in these countries. I think that there are a lot of manufacturers that might, oh, you have business for me, we're a Christian manufacturer. And it's difficult to do. So, maybe starting with something of just confirming that the manufacturer is on the up and up, and that they're treating their employees in a correct way with integrity. They're leading their business with integrity. Would love it if they have Christian values. I just don't know that that's something you'd be able to verify and validate that they're running.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I think we would definitely have to partner with ministries, with missionaries, with boots on the ground, or missionaries that are businessmen in those areas that already have that network established. So we would definitely need that for verification. Totally agree.
So very interesting idea. I just am trying to understand, how are you going to target, like what is your target market? What is your target church profile, or your target manufacturing profile for the types of things you want to zero in on? Because it sounds really broad right now, and so I'm just wondering if you could zero in just a little bit.
Definitely. We would definitely need to pick a certain region or a certain industry. I was talking to a missionary recently. They have a network of artisans where it's already established. And so really it's tapping into that network. And we would really have to really dive in deeper to see how easy it would be and if they would even want our help or to be involved. But really for us, we're in that first phase where we have to find those networks and then partner with those ministries that already have those networks.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, I was just thinking through the need for a service like this, and I'm curious if you could speak a little bit more to the need that you've seen for the service in general, and then the type of feedback that you've heard related to people who really want to deal with a Christian organization. Like, is this something that you guys have thought of that you think should exist, or is this something that you have a real life experience with and know for sure that there's a pain point that you could solve?
Yes, so actually this whole idea came across because it was a problem I had. So the running mitts that I shown, that's actually my business, and I was wanting to find a way to support Christian missions through my business. And so that's where I went through that whole process. And then we had a small survey, about 10 US businesses, and they said that, everyone who answered the survey said they would make that switch. And so definitely we need to find Christian businesses that are into that kingdom building and want to support missions through their daily business transactions.
Well, yeah, I would encourage you to do a little bit more research just to make sure that need is there, because you're about to put a lot on the line, and you're about to invest a lot in this idea. And if it were me, I'd want to be really sure that there are a bunch of people out there just wishing and waiting that something like this existed. I know from experience that you don't really want to launch sometimes into a situation where you have to convince people that they have a need and then sell them the solution to that need. So oftentimes it's better to make sure you're in a situation where the need already exists and you can just handle one of those steps.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
Well, what is up, everyone? I am one of the CEOs of Crown Chains. My name is Maria Martinez, and as an entrepreneur, my team and I are super honored to be able to sponsor and support The Pitch and Q and other entrepreneurs. Crown Chains is a student-run company that emerged out of the Integrated Business Core in the Plaster School of Business. And at Crown, we are committed to being Christ-centered and consumer-focused. It is our goal to connect communities and produce product with a purpose that equips our consumers to share the gospel. So as part of our sponsorship with The Pitch this evening, we are doing a merch giveaway. So if you would like the chance to win 2 Crown Chains, a silver and a gold chain, as well as our custom logo Crown of Thorns pendant, and a Crown Chain sticker, go ahead and scan the QR code or head directly to our Instagram, where you will find the giveaway post there. Follow our page, like the post, and share that post on your story, and you will be entered into our giveaway, and we'll be back in about 20 minutes to announce the winner. Thanks.
Whoever wins that Crown Chain giveaway can come find me after the show. We can talk. We'll figure something out. All right, who's ready for our final pitcher of the night? All right, so last we have a junior accounting major who, between academics and being part of the cross-country and track team, found the time to come up with an idea that'll make thrill-seeking just that little bit safer. Please welcome to the stage, Ethan Wallace.
Everyone, I'm really excited to be here and introduce my brand, Rider Aspect, providing motorcyclists uncompromising protective gear at an affordable price. So, why are motorcycle gloves important? Well, as you can see, if you end up in a situation like this guy, imagine you're riding your bike and you go out for a ride and you hit a rock or hit a curb and you end up flying over your handlebars. Well, one of your body's first reactions will be to throw your arms out. The problem with this is it can cause a lot of injuries because of that force of you moving forward. As soon as your hands hit the ground, it is exerted into your hands and arms. This can lead to costly injuries, and most commonly, the scaphoid bone, which connects the base of your wrist to your thumb. And this bone allows you to grip. So if this is injured, you may not be able to grip or have issues with it. It can also leave lots of scarring on your hands. And the next slide I'm about to show is quite graphic. It's an example of someone who laid their bike down going about 50 miles an hour and he was not wearing proper protective gloves. So if this might bother you, you may want to look away. 3, 2, 1. Here it is. As you can see, you don't have a lot of protection on your knuckles, and same goes to your palms. And the road will tear right through your hands. And these kind of injuries will leave you getting stitches like this guy. He got stitches in both of his hands, and it can lead you to, you're obviously not going to be able to ride. It can lead you to not being able to work, and possibly other problems and costly hospital bills. So what makes a good glove then? Well, most importantly, palm sliders. These palm sliders allow you to slide when you hit the ground instead of your hands stopping on the asphalt. And they also give you that protection when you're sliding to prevent those nasty hand injuries that you saw. Next is the pinky ring stitch. This connects your pinky finger to your ring finger, and you have really weak pinkies. In an accident, it's very likely that your pinky will go off and could fracture or break. And as we saw in the last picture, hard knuckles are also important because you don't have a lot of meat there to protect you. And the same can be said for your wrist. You want that hard protection and protection all the way around, and they call this a gauntlet-style glove. These gauntlet-style gloves are also required at a motorcycle track. They will not let you go to a track without this. So here I have an example of a popular cheap option and a popular premium option. As you can see, the popular cheap option, although it offers a gauntlet style and knuckle and finger protection, it does not come with the pinky ring stitch, hard palm sliders, and it has very poor wrist protection. It does not have the hard wrist protection. On the right, you can see this popular premium option has all the things that you want in a glove. However, it comes at a price of $270. This leaves many riders to compromise, getting something a lot cheaper similar to this one, risking their skin. Our solution is the Rider Aspect Apex Gauntlet Gloves, coming at $89.99, and I have a few pairs for the judges to hand these out. So with affordability at a price of $89.99, it places our gloves at a price that is much cheaper than the competition that offers all of these very important safety features. One is a size small and one is a size medium. And we hope to do this and reach our customers through community engagement, through things like Instagram, TikTok. As I've seen, that's been very successful for other upcoming brands. We'd love to create a community maybe where people snap a picture with their gloves and their motorcycle, sharing their aspect to riding. And we just like to create a community around this, get this in the hands of influencers, because I think word-of-mouth marketing is really important in a market that involves safety and affordability. And after we successfully create a community and customer base with a steady flow of business, we'd like to maybe innovate into different styles of gloves or maybe other areas of protective gear. So, like I said before, these gloves will cost $89.99. The manufacturing cost per pair, as well as the packaging, cost $24. To ship to me, it was based on a 50-pair order I placed. It cost me $5.38 average per pair. The shipping to customers will vary from about $5 to $15. So if you assume a $10 shipping cost, it'll bring the total cost to $39.38. This leaves a profit margin of 56.24%. So how would we benefit from the investment? Well, the biggest issue we have is reaching customers, and I think these social media marketing can be really huge for us, and getting these out to influencers and creating this community could be a really good thing. It would also allow me to increase my glove production quantity, which could help reduce the manufacturing cost per glove and then bring that profit margin up as well. And then we could also start creating prototypes in other areas of riding gear to create that next big motorcycle safety product. Thank you.
Scott, quick question for you. Right now he's at, let's say, 40 bucks, right? And he's selling for 90. Were you the one who said that if his volume increases significantly, you get 30% off that number?
Yeah, you should shoot for initially about 70% gross margin direct to consumer. Because when you start going to really broad distribution, wholesalers, distributors, channel partners, retailers, everyone wants their hand in the cookie jar. And so then they do a lot of work in broad distribution, but if you're making a fraction of a penny off every unit, you can sell hundreds of thousands of units and not make any money. So there has to be enough meat on the bone direct to consumer. But I think
But he can get down by 10 bucks by ordering 10,000
yeah.
units.
Yeah, and that's,
You're
volume
onto
cost
something.
reduction.
Right.
Yeah.
You're onto something.
Yeah, you are onto something. My question is, what's the difference between what you have and the premium option?
I would say the biggest difference is just the price. It's significantly cheaper and more attainable. Even when I was looking for gloves, when I saw the price tag of the very expensive Alpine Stars,
So
I
people are
didn't
paying for the
consider it.
brand, you think?
Yeah, people definitely pay for the brand, and a lot of people promote these different types of protection. So
what I would just recommend is that you look through some of what the premium options are, because I think that if it really is kind of apples to apples, which you say it is, I don't know, I'm taking your word for it, then I would look at, and I would start looking kind of some of the one-star reviews. What do people not like about some of those premium products? Where do they not think they got their value? And really try to find a differentiator. Because you saying the same is good because your price point's a lot lower, but I'd like to know how you're going to differentiate yourself, because they have an existing brand. You're a brand that nobody knows. So you have to have something that sets you apart.
thank you.
Yeah, I completely agree. I will say the presentation that you put together, it really spoke to me because you were so clear about the different injuries that you can have. Kudos to how you laid that out. Could you talk a little bit about your marketing strategy?
Yeah, so I think that social media marketing is a really good way to promote the brand. There's a lot of motorcycle influencers on, let's say, Instagram. A lot of them have around 50,000 to like 80,000 followers. And I think if I can get them in the hands of those kind of people and create campaigns or promotions, it'd be a good way to get that out there. But also at the same time, not only maybe them just like wearing it in the video, maybe explaining why these safety features are important and like that you can have these things at an affordable price.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I would agree with Scott that it's pretty important to research the other premium options and see ways other than price that you can differentiate, because oftentimes there's a reason for the prices that your competitors are charging, and when you really get in there, you might find out what that is. And it might be as simple as covering, overhead or payroll or whatever, but that cost can tend to be higher than you expect. I'm a firm believer in not worrying about competition though, as long as you have that advantage. One of the things I like to say is your idea doesn't have to be original to be good. And a lot of times you look at a large company and you think, okay, this major brand is producing this thing. Well, a lot of times major companies don't have their stuff together as much as you would think. And as a small company, you're way more nimble. You're able to innovate. You're able to be really in touch with what the customer needs. And I think what you might find when you really dig in is there are ways other than price that you can compete. And it could be something as simple as amazing customer service. The other thing I wanted to share with you is I recently bought a bike, and the guy at the bike shop told me that he was just talking and randomly mentioned that he has had a lot of people who didn't wear the proper protection, and it ended up with, he said the top two things were broken wrists and broken collarbones. So as I'm looking at these, I'm thinking, I wonder if you'd ever considered creating a version that has wrist protection as well, and if that's something that you hear a lot in relation to motorcycles.
Right, yeah, so those do offer pretty strong wrist protection. They have a strap that you can tighten there. That'll tighten it up and help protect your wrist.
The only other thing I would add is just, when you had mentioned this before, but as I was thinking about it, you're so much lower than that premium glove that you're showing that you may be even leaving money on the table. If someone's safety is important to them, that really find out what your market's willing to pay for it. I mean, it's great that you can be that competitive, but there's an opportunity to make money. Think about your product roadmap. You talked about different ways you could go, but I would get a little more specific with that, because I would really try to tie, products move pieces on a chessboard, movements move mountains. If your movement is to create a safer riding experience, what other areas can you do that in? And I would just like to hear maybe later after the show, what your thoughts are of more specifically how you would do that, because that's the movement. People buy into a movement of a company as much as they do the product.
Yeah, maybe a core version and a pro version, and the pro version gives you an opportunity to pick up an extra 30, 40, 50 bucks with a little bit sexier design, so to speak, and you still pick up the new market and the money.
Okay, thank you.
All right, everybody, we've seen a lot of phenomenal pitches tonight, and in between the combination of the pitches, the headphones, the speakers, sometimes it's easy to forget what really matters and all of that. So please help me welcome to the stage Dr. Smith while the judges deliberate.
Good evening. Simon Sinek had a huge hit on a TED Talk called Start With Your Why. I want to talk to you a little bit tonight about the why behind the pitch. As I mentioned last time we spoke, what do entrepreneurs do? They solve problems, sometimes problems we don't even know that we have. Think of the invention of the cell phone. Once we have the cell phone, we're like, wow, I didn't know I needed this, but now we'd feel lost without it, right? One of the problems that entrepreneurs face is how to get out the word about what's behind their product. Well, as I ask my students all the time, a picture's worth 1,000 words. So I'm going to show you a picture that illustrates what our why is here at the cue and at the pitch. It's called the 3 circles. Have you watched the news recently? We got a lot of problems in our world, don't we? In fact, our world seems broken. I have a friend I talked to last week. He said, Daryl, I don't even watch the news anymore. It's too depressing. Okay? But yet, at the same time, we look around our world, and sometimes we see things of beauty, like a newborn baby just lying there, or a beautiful sunset by an ocean, and we think, wow, why can't it be like this all the time? This idea of brokenness was really brought home to me last week. 10 blocks from the church where I worship, a 14-year-old got off the school bus with a 17-year-old. They ran around the building. They disappeared for a couple minutes. They came around the other side. One of them had a handgun, and the 17-year-old shot the 14-year-old. And he laid there, and he bled to death with a fireman at his side. Happened to know the fireman, and he said, why? Why does this go on? This shouldn't happen in our communities. It shouldn't be this way. And that's a very good question. The answer to that is we as humans, way back to our ancestors Adam and Eve, we've been running away from God's perfect design and doing things our own way. And that's led to the brokenness that we see. The Bible calls that sin. So here we are trapped in this broken world due to our own actions, and so we try to come up with ways to escape. One way that we try is sometimes success. As students, you're like, I'm going to get a 4.0 this semester. Or you're out in the working world, I'm going to climb the corporate ladder. Another way people try to escape is by doing good deeds. Hey, I think I'm going to start going to church. I have a friend who works at a soup kitchen every Sunday morning just because it makes him feel better. And it's admirable to work at a soup kitchen. The other way we try to escape, we try to get out of the brokenness is through escape. Some of it may seem harmless, binging on our favorite streaming service, playing fantasy sports. Have you ever found yourself on Instagram or Facebook for hours just to get away? And then there's more harmful means, drug addiction, alcohol abuse, attempted suicide. But the problem with all these solutions to our brokenness is they don't work. They're like bungee cords that we go away from the brokenness, but we get snapped right back. God is the ultimate entrepreneur. He saw and sees our biggest problem, and he realized it was too big for us to solve ourselves. So God the Father sent God the Son into the world. His name was Jesus. He came, and he lived a perfect life. And after 33 years, he allowed himself to be crucified. You saw the picture of the man with the hand injury. Jesus' injuries on that cross were far worse. Why did he have to die like that? You remember after 9/11, those of us who are old enough, people were saying, somebody's got to pay for this. Somebody's got to make this right. That's actually a biblical idea. The book of Romans says the wages or the payment for our sin is death. But the gift of God is eternal life in Jesus Christ our Lord. That's what Jesus was doing on the cross. He was paying for our brokenness and our sin. And then he rose from the grave 3 days later, proving that he indeed was God the Son. So how can we get out of brokenness? We stop running away from God and we turn towards God on our knees, acknowledging our sin and that we've been away from him and asking for his forgiveness. Most people are willing to admit that they're sinful and that they're in a broken state and they want forgiveness, but they're hesitant to give their life to Jesus and let him be the Lord or the boss of their life. But once we do, we can experience reuniting wholeness with God and enjoy the peace and the restoration and the love that only can be found when we are united with God through Christ. So I have a question for you as I close. What circle are you in? Are you in brokenness or are you in God's perfect design? Which circle do you want to be in? Do you want to remain, if you're in brokenness, do you want to remain there? Or do you want to experience God's wholeness and fullness? Is there anything keeping you from receiving that wholeness and forgiveness tonight? All it requires is as simple as ABC. We need to admit that we're sinners, believe that Jesus died on that cross to pay for our sin, and call out and ask for that forgiveness. Forgiveness for running away from God, doing things our own way, and acknowledging him as now the boss and Lord of our life. If that's you out in the audience or you watching through the live stream, I'm going to pray right now. And you can silently pray along with me to receive that forgiveness if you're ready. So if you'd bow your heads, I'm just going to lead in a simple prayer. And if this is the desire of your heart, just pray silently along with me. Dear God, I admit I'm a sinner. I believe Jesus died on the cross for my sins. I'm sorry for running away from you. I ask your forgiveness, and I turn to you, and I ask you to be the Lord of my life from this day forward. Thank you. Amen. If you prayed that prayer tonight, you have become a son or a daughter of God, and you can now experience the wholeness and forgiveness that only he offers. If that's your decision tonight, and you want to know how to go from here, contact us at the Plaster School of Business. We'd love to help you out and help direct you to a good church where you can start growing and living in that fullness and wholeness that only God offers. Now you know the why behind the pitch. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Smith. Now, to give the judges some more time, we thought it would be really fun to invite some of our past competitors up to talk about where their business is now. So at this time, I'd like to invite Cooper, Joel, and Aaron Perry up to the stage just to give us a brief synopsis of where they are at now. So Cooper, can you tell us when you pitched your business, what your business is, and kind of where it is now?
Yeah, I pitched my business last February. It's Run Gloves, gloves to keep your hands warmer and a more comfortable, natural running form for runners in cold climates. And I just want to say thanks to Dr. Prigge, Dr. Oberbrunner, and Scott Moffat for all their support and helping me get to where I am today. Blessed to have over 3,000 in sales in the first half of the season and looking for the future. Really excited.
Wow, that's amazing. Can we give it up for Cooper? Next we have Joel Kennedy, and can you just tell us when you pitched, what you pitched, and what it is now?
Sure, yeah. Leading up to the pitch in 2021, I had a painful problem. I was a student and I was pulled in a million different directions between school, work, and the rest of life. And so I created an app that helped me get organized fast, and everyone liked it. I found out that this was a big problem, and so I shared it with my friend Spencer. He's pictured up there, and he's like, yeah, this app really helped me as well. And so I'm excited to graduate, and I'm asking God, what should I do with my life? I'd like to do this. Is that something you'd like for me? And I asked for a senior design team. Lord, if this is what your will is for me, then please just give me a senior design team. And he did. So we're working diligently to create the best student organizational tool in the world. And I'm really looking forward to seeing where God takes it. I'm also really excited to announce for those of you who are in the audience tonight, if you would like to try Homework Muffin, if that sounds something that's beneficial to you, we're offering you 90% off for the first 100 people to use the code PITCH tonight.
Cool. Thank you so much, Joel. And then lastly, we have Aaron Perry. You may recognize him. Could you just tell us when you pitched, what you pitched, and how it's doing now?
Yeah, for sure. So my name's Aaron Perry. I'm the founder of Ultralight Running, and I pitched last fall. And I'm personally an ultra marathon runner, so that's kind of a distance, anything longer than 26.2 miles. And I wanted to create a company that would benefit those runners who were in that space. And so this is my first product. It's a running hat that incorporates different pockets on either side to help store your running gels, your key fob, your ID if you go to the gym, things along those lines. So I'm slowly trying to expand the product line to a few other things, doing the 2.0 version of this hat, and then I'm doing some running shorts, some shirts, and then some half tights. So that's really what we're looking for in the next year. So thank you.
Cool. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you guys again so much for coming. And if you are interested in entrepreneurship, I highly recommend checking out Q. 4 of the businesses that you saw here tonight were from our org, and we're just proud and excited to keep growing this org. Now I'm going to welcome back Aubrey, who has the winners of tonight's pitch.
Thank you, Annie. Thank you all for coming back. I would actually like to welcome Mia back to the stage for the Crown Chains giveaway.
Thanks, Aubrey. All right, well, what you have all been waiting for. Our winner for the Crown Chains giveaway, you can just come right up to the stage, is Molly Tyndale. Congratulations. Where are you at? Perfect. Awesome. And don't worry, if you guys did not win tonight, we will have our merch table right out there in Alumni Hall, so you can still come and check out our product and purchase some merch if you would like to. Thanks.
All right, Crown Chains. It's amazing to see what a student org can do. Thank you so much for sponsoring this event. All right, I know we're all excited to hear who won, but first, judges, do you have anything you'd like to say?
I was saying to this group in the back, like, our generation did not come up with cool stuff like this. We used to talk about, oh, I think I'll start a milk stand or a coffee shop. And you guys are coming up with amazing stuff, so.
Yeah, I heard a word for the first time tonight, so that was fun. It was a lot of fun. I love doing this and seeing the innovation and the amount of time and work that students put into it. It's a blessing to be a part of it.
I'm just so impressed by the fact that these students have been able to get up here and pitch, you know, with no notes, just tell the story, be passionate, and have such amazing ideas. I definitely did not have opportunities like this when I was a student, so kudos to everyone.
Yeah, it was such a pleasure watching you guys present, and I just wanted to say thank you for having the courage to come up here and do it. I know some of my memories now, some of my best memories are from those early days when we had no clue if anything was going to work out, or what was going to happen, or if we even had a good idea, or if anybody was even going to listen to us, and had no money or anything. And my business partners and I have looked back on those days and just reminisced even now all the time. So I know probably you guys are in a challenging phase, but enjoy it. This is part of the fun, and this is a story that you're going to get to tell someday. I really enjoyed hearing all the pitches, and I thought you guys had a lot of great ideas.
Thank you guys so much. They have worked very hard. Even from preliminary judging to now, you can see the amount of effort that they've put in, so great job, guys. All right, so without further ado, it's important to note that it takes a lot of courage, time, and effort to not only develop a pitch, but to bring it on stage. So even if you didn't make it into the top 3, you're gonna walk away with $100 to pursue your entrepreneurial idea tonight. So good job, guys. Thank you so much. All right, so in third place, winning a $300 prize, we have Will and Abby with Peace. Congratulations. And then in second place, for a $500 prize, we have Aspect by Ethan. Great job. And then, in first place, please come on stage to receive your $1,000 prize, Neo Chic by Lainey. Congratulations. Okay, guys, thank you all so much for coming. Thank you to the judges. Thank you to the faculty who have devoted their time. Thank you to the pitchers. And most of all, thank you to God for giving us all these opportunities. Have a wonderful night, guys. Thank you for coming.